August 6th, 2023. We begin this weekend. Well, we end the weekend, I guess. August 6th is Sunday, but it's a popper, okay? We've got real exciting energy that is in place Friday the 4th, Saturday the 5th for sure, and Sunday the 6th. And it'll be carrying on through the early part of the week with the moon helping out. And what is this energy, you ask? It is the square between the sun in Leo and Jupiter in Taurus. Now, squares, you think to yourself, oh, these are hard aspects. These are tense. But, you know, the sun and Jupiter get along really well. Jupiter's very happy out in Taurus. Not really such a thing. The sun, of course, is in his home sign of Leo. Nobody's telling him what to do. So, yeah, it's a pretty powerful energy that should work in a rather positive way. Courage and faith is the sense that we have here at the weekend. Courage from the sun, faith from Jupiter. They're coming together in an optimistic kind of blend, supported very much by the Aries moon. The Aries moon, another dose of fire. Moon is waning, but don't make such a thing out of that, okay? So we're looking at it as being the fiery sun, the fiery moon, connecting with Jupiter. It's an upbeat kind of energy. Go for it. I mean, Venus is retrograde and Mercury's in the shadow is retrograde and a bunch of other stuff is going on, but go for it. Go for it. It's time to take a leap of faith. It's time to say, well, so what? And, you know, don't ever let anything that I say or anybody else says on any forecast make you think that this is going to be a bad time or anything like that. It's not like that at all. It is a weather forecast in a sense. And, you know, if a really good weather forecast might say that there's going to be a thunderstorm in your town between 4 and 5 p.m. this afternoon, it doesn't mean your house is getting hit by lightning. It may not be the best time to go have a picnic. You might have to adapt your plans a little bit, but, you know, it's not the kind of thing that you have to worry about, that you have to think about as being a problem. So keep that in mind. Anything I say, if it's making you worried or anxious, you're listening wrong. That's you. And if anybody else's forecast, maybe you're doing the same thing. And if they're scaring you, don't listen to them. Don't listen. This is a general forecast. No need for that. So some people with this Sun-Jupiter aspect, they may get a little full of themselves. This is going to increase confidence, increase our sense of self, give us a sense of courage. But if you're kind of a jerk, you get the energy too. It's not like it only works in certain ways. It works for everybody. Everybody can get a little inflated. And some folks will get full of themselves. Just let them blow hard and blow over. This energy continues as we go through the week because we get the Taurus moon, and that'll help because Jupiter is in Taurus. So the moon comes and visits Jupiter and then squares the sun at the last quarter moon. Kind of heats things up as we go through the week. It's sort of peak energy on Sunday, but it maintains itself for a while because of the lunar aspect. So this courage, faith, the sense, yeah, we can do it, go forward. It's pretty good energy, and it obtains all week long. Now, also all week long, we have the energy of communication really coming to the fore as Mercury connects with Pallas Athene, and Mercury connects with Jupiter. And so the Mercury is in the shadow of his retrograde, and you've probably noticed things going on the fritz already. We might hope that in his home sign of Virgo, Mercury would give us less problems, but it doesn't really seem to be playing out like that. Or it could be something else, I don't know. But we still have the opportunity for communication. Mercury and Pallas Athene especially, very positive for getting out there and saying what needs to be said. So that's a positive thing to keep in mind throughout the week. Early in the week, backing up a little bit, early in the week, we have Venus square to Uranus. Now, Venus-Uranus aspects usually mean It's a time for, when it comes to relationship, finance, valuables, creativity. It's a time for kind of breaking out of the box, doing things a little bit differently, your social patterns and things like that. You're not really feeling for doing the same old, same old. Venus is retrograde now. So Venus is backing up over the point where she met with Uranus back in early July. For those of you that have good memories and something happening, then you might say, oh, yes, this resonates with that. I'm getting the next part of the story. You'll get the final part of the story in September when she passes going forward after her retrograde. It's such a lot of work to think about all that, though, isn't it? So let's just think about it this way. Venus retrograde in Leo, square to Uranus. We want to do what we want to do with who we want to do it with. So give yourself some freedom, give other people the space that they need, and yeah, get out and do a little bit of socializing, take advantage of this really positive energy. It is a very positive energy because Uranus, again, the square is mitigated. It's a tense square, but it's mitigated because Uranus is in Venus's home sign of Taurus. In fact, it's even more cushioned by the reception than the Sun-Jupiter square. So I would say Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're really feeling this, and it's hopefully it's vacation time for you. Try a little bit of a variation in routine, or forget the routine, or forget, you can do things by yourself too. That's another possibility. If it's hard to get people on the same page for what you're feeling for, then it would be a good time to go your own way. Now, with Venus retrograde, remember the feel isn't one of let's go forward, let's start something new. It's much more about reconsidering and going within. And particularly this aspect as compared to July and September, this aspect may be more internally felt. It may be more a matter of, gee, what am I really feeling for? Where do my values really sit? What do I really want? Put it nice and simply. What do I really want in relationship, in creativity, in finances, all of these, the Venusian areas? What do I really need? Do I need to get luxury items? Or which luxury items? Maybe, some luxury items are not a bad thing, not with Venus retrograde, but in life, some luxury items you can have. You have to live a Spartan existence, but you don't want to overdo it. So what do you really need? I would say that this Venus-Uranus aspect, where we really might feel like paring down and getting down to the bare minimum of things. What do I really need? Let's just talk about relationship because it's Venus. What do I really need in relationship? As opposed to what are all the things that I could imagine? The kind of process that's going on here. Were it not for the fact that that Sun-Jupiter square is still active, and that's a very outgoing energy, I might even guess that this Uranus-Venus square would be something that we would really just experience internally. So the waning moon works its way through Taurus and Gemini. Gemini, as we get to the end of the week, relatively good for communication, light socialization, groups of friends type of thing. That catches some of the energy of last week's Aquarius full moon. That's Aquarius. This is Gemini. A little different, but sort of the same too. And then on Friday evening, the moon goes into Cancer. So a little bit more of a protective vibe. We have a waning moon in Cancer. Little bit more of a protective kind of vibe. Stay closer to home, maybe, is the feeling, after last weekend, and go back to the full moon on August 1st. Up until about the 11th or so, we're really feeling this sort of outgoing energy. And now maybe we start to contract a little bit. The Cancer moon, aware that she's going to have to run into Pluto before she gets out of the sign. Once again, we're back to that scenario. So the Cancer moon's more protective side, the more clannish side, the more conservative side gets highlighted because that impending meeting with Pluto is so prominent. So it might be a little bit more of a stay at home, stay around close friends, family. If you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to go out and do something really exciting, go do it. Go do it. Go do it. Venus is retrograde. You have a waning moon in Cancer on Friday night and Saturday. Go do it. Prove me wrong. That'd be great. I mean, I might. If anything comes up, I'll be out of here. So don't stop yourself, but be aware that that might be kind of the vibe that is there. Now, relationships. Partnership asteroid Juno gets a lot of attention this week. First of all, catches a sextile. Sextile, hold on. Wait. Yes, she catches a sextile, a trine, silly me, a trine from Neptune, and then an opposition to Pluto. And that opposition to Pluto, it's exact very earliest hours of Sunday, the 13th. But we might as well look at this again as being something that is affecting Friday and Saturday nights. Now, partnership asteroid, it's just a partnership asteroid, but what Juno really seems to be about is about partnership commitment. Not even necessarily to this person, but what is your sense of commitment to the idea of partnership? And then this particular partner. That's what Juno is about. And in the sign of Cancer, we get some of the more conservative, more cautious aspects of Juno. In other words, holding on tightly to partnership, holding on tightly to this partner, holding on tightly to the status quo. The very last degrees of Cancer, she's going to go into Leo early next week. And so we're getting that full Cancerian energy supported by the also cautious Cancerian moon, and Juno is opposed to Pluto throughout the weekend. Now, catch a nice trine from Neptune. You feel, wow, things feel good. Almost anything is possible. It's nice. And then we get this opposition to Pluto. Now, for the vast majority of people that are in relationships, this should mean pretty much nothing at all. If you're in a good place, if things are okay, should mean nothing. If you're in a vulnerable place, if you're at a tipping point in relationship, however, this could be quite significant. If things are going well, this could be an upward push. Pluto really demanding, or Pluto doesn't really demand, Pluto just does what he does. Pluto to Juno could be going to a deeper level. I push upwards, but then I say deeper, a deeper level of commitment. If you're in a good place and you happen to be at that tipping point, it could be about going to a deeper level of commitment. Alternatively, if you're in a vulnerable place and this aspect gets sort of seated in there, then you may very well feel the other way. This could be something of a breakup aspect. Not that you're gonna break up. I mean, maybe you want to break up. And that's what Pluto is asking. That's what Pluto is asking Juno. Do you want to break up? Do you want to get out of the situation that you're in if you're not happy? So what we have is the potential for relationships that are at a tipping point, one way or the other. This could be what pushes you to go deeper in a greater commitment way, or it could be what pushes you away from the commitment if you're not so happy with where you are. I got to tell you, that is probably relevant to about 0.03% of the people that are watching this. You have to be in a relationship that is in a particular place when this happens, and it more or less would be even helpful if you have planets someplace around the late degrees of cardinal signs, that this would be, well, late degrees of any sign, relevant planets, that this would really kind of play out a little bit more for you. So do not worry about this in general. But if you have been thinking, not sure where things are going, or I'm not sure where things are going, this could be the point at which we start to see where things are going. I wouldn't even say that necessarily anything is going to happen with Pluto Juno, but it might, and it might also be kind of an internal thing. Now, I hope that you're liking the video, because I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. I hope that you like the video. I hope that you subscribe. You know why? If you're watching all the way out to this point in this forecast video, you'll like the other forecast videos that come up, the weekly ones, the monthly ones, the special events like the nodes in Taurus, Aries and Libra, and when Jupiter or anybody else changes signs, you'll like that. The Venus retrograde video, never popular because it's Venus retrograde. People don't want to hear about it. So you can pick up on those things. This past week, I offered a video on the best astrology books for non-astrologers, for folks that are interested in astrology but don't really speak the full language, and you just want to go a little bit more than the sun sign forecast, but you don't want to really learn the whole language. And I mention it now because if you might be interested, it probably did not show up on your feed unless you're a subscriber. It's not the sort of thing people are going to wander by and pick up. On the other hand, it's sort of evergreen, right? It doesn't go bad until I come up with some new astrology books for non-astrologers. But generally speaking, some videos may not get to you if you don't subscribe. And there's no monetization for this channel or anything like that. I'm not making money. I'm not that ego invested in how many likes there are. I don't think I am, but apparently maybe I am, because I told you to like. But yeah, and comments, I'm always happy to answer comments. That's another thing. Sometimes folks have comments. I appreciate that you take the time to either say that you like the video or to ask questions that you might have about the week, or sometimes you just ask a question about something or other. Anyways, that's what I have to say this week, and I'm going to say something else next time.